Well, you remember Kennedy was assassinated in late November of '63, and I was at that time the president of the Illinois Federation of Republican Women, and I had a whole series of Republican speeches scheduled beginning in December. And it just seemed inappropriate to give a standard anti-Democratic Party speech. So I worked up a new speech called How Political Conventions Are Stolen, starting the first week in December of 1963. And then I gave that speech all January and February, and it told the story of how the Rockefeller establishment had outmaneuvered the conservatives and given the nomination to Me Tooers like Thomas Dewey. And by March, I realized I could put it in a book and influence the convention. So it was a whirlwind year.
Where did you write it?
I wrote it on my Royal Standard typewriter at night at home. And then, of course, I self-published it. You know, if you go to a publisher, it's going to take them 2 years to get their act together. And we needed it in '64.
What is Père Marquette?
Père Marquette Press. That's the little publisher I set up to produce this book. And so I sent it off to the printer in March, and 25,000 copies arrived at my garage on April the 30th. And I typed out a one-page letter that said, "Dear friend, please read this book today and then buy enough copies to send to your delegates to the 1964 Republican National Convention." And I typed on my type. I typed a stencil in those days, and I had a mimeograph machine in the basement. And I went down in the basement and put the stencil on the round thing and ground out 100 letters. I sent 100 letters out. It's the only advertising I ever did. And one of those letters was read by a friend in California who called up and said, "I read it. I'm going to a UROC convention this weekend, that's United Republicans of California. Air freight me out 5,000 copies. And so I loaded them up in my station wagon, took them down to the airport, sent them out there, and that weekend we had statewide distribution in California. And the California primary was the first week in June, and we sold over 500,000 copies between the 1st of May and the 1st of June in California.
Where did the title come from?
Well, Barry Goldwater used the title, and the minute I heard it, I knew that was it.